Coach, we spoke about coming out of the break, how there'd be a lot of high-level basketball, close games. How do you feel your group responded to big play after big play down the stretch?
I thought the group did a tremendous job of not letting shot making or missing impact our defense. Obviously, we had some mistakes during this game, but our guys stayed the course the entire game. And, our guys being able to step up big. Paolo was gigantic for us tonight. His shot making, his play making, him rebounding the basketball, those were big plays for us tonight. Guys just found ways to have winning plays throughout this game.
What does it mean for your team to win 2 in a row here in Los Angeles?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, we had 2 very good basketball teams. I think our guys being able to, the other night coming off of a tough loss against, Phoenix, and then being able to do it on a back-to-back, and then coming here playing against a tough team. Our guys having the resiliency and the focus and the toughness and the togetherness to just continue to stay the fight and knowing exactly what we need to do on this back stretch.
Coach, Anthony Black didn't shoot the ball particularly well tonight, but what did you like from him, besides just his shooting?
The reality, that rebound he got at the end of the game is part of the winning plays. Those are little things that are who he is continuing to be. I mean, he's made such strides for us this year. I think in my opinion, he's runner-up, and if not in the top of the race for most improved. The way he's been playing, the way he's been active for us, both defensively and offensively. And he doesn't have to shoot the ball great every night. He does so many other little small intangible things that are game-changing and game-winning plays for us.
Maul, I got two for you. Luka shooting 8 for 24. You coached him, in Dallas. And what, if anything, about your experience coaching him informed how you want to defend him, especially on a night like tonight?
Listen, sometimes when he shoots it, you just got to hope it doesn't go in, because he's that good. And then when the game was on the line, he took the big 3 that put them up 3. Then Paolo comes back and hit one. As soon as that one went up in the corner, it's good, because that's what he's done. I've seen him do it. He did it when we played Portland, when we were in Dallas. I've seen that same exact shot. So you've just got to keep mixing the coverages up against him, make it difficult, do your best to do it without fouling, and just continue to make it tough on him.
Flip side, this is the most points Paolo scored in a win all season, the second most, period. What worked for him tonight that you want him to sustain, especially we're approaching the 4th quarter of the season here?
Yeah, I just think his aggression level, the quick decision, getting downhill, finding the matchup that he likes, attacking the basket, putting pressure on the defense. I mean, more than anything, and you look at it, he got to the free throw line 11 times. That's aggression. That's determination. That's focus, getting downhill, and then he's knocking them down. So just continuing to be the aggressor. As soon as he steps on the floor, he creates the mismatch. He's got eyes on him. These guys are loaded up to him. So his ability to make the quick decisions, get downhill, that last play that he gets downhill attacking and sprays it out to Desmond for the knockdown 3, those are big-time plays, and that's what we're going to keep needing from him down the stretch.
Along those lines, Coach, Des maybe not having his best shooting night in the first half, how does he personify just stick with the process, continue with it, and the type of finish that he had in this one?
I'll say it time and time again, he's just a winner. He's going to find a way. When that shot went up on the wing, it's good, because that's who he is. That's what he's done. He wants those moments. He lives for those moments, and he's not going to shy away from them. And so no matter how the game is going, he's got a short memory. He's going to let the next one fly, and that's exactly what we need from him.
What kind of confidence booster is it to come out west, what you guys did out of the break, and take that back home with you?
It's big. I think the guys just said it in the locker room as we broke the huddle. It was like, let's take this momentum and go back home to our fans, who we know how supportive they are. Our building is going to be rocking. We have some of the best fans in the NBA, and our ability to be in front of them, to play the way that we know how to, both defensively and offensively. There's a joy to watch when we're at home playing basketball.
Given all that Mo's been going through this past year with his recovery, how have you seen him come along these past 2 months?
Yeah, it's been, there's been a good progression for him. The other night was his first back-to-back. We talked about it as a group in the locker room, just congratulating him for playing a back-to-back. I don't think there's many people that work as hard as him that are determined to get back on the floor, because he cares so daggone much. He never wants to come out the game, and sometimes I don't want to take him out, but the reality is, because if he's working his way back, it's going to take the time. But he works so daggone hard to be on the floor, and the team sees that, and that's what helps us as well.
I'm hoping I'm remembering this right. I don't think he called a timeout after LeBron had the baseline out of bounds dunk. You just told them to come down. If that's what I remember correctly.
You do remember correctly, yes.
All right. So why did you trust your team to execute there? What did you want them to do, and how do you feel like they did it?
Well, you can call the timeout, then they have time to draw their play. They have time to get the defense that they want in. Now, we had called the play of what we wanted the time before, that we got the shot, the three from Dez, but the ability to get downhill was what was important, and we had the matchups that we wanted, and trusting Paolo, which is what we do, him able to make the right play at the right time is big for us without them being able to set their defense and get the matchups that they want at that time. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dell, coming out of the break, talked about the type of high-level basketball that would be played on this West Coast trip and in basketball in general. For your group tonight, playing in that type of game, how did you like your group's ability to come up with big plays in those situations?
Staying resilient. We've been struggling, kind of going into the break. Guys got a chance to reset. Coming out of it, guys have been playing really well. I think we're starting to mature a lot more in terms of, understanding the process over the results. We was victorious tonight because we just did all the little things from the start of the game to the end. And we got to continue to play like that. Then the other stuff will start to come together, and then that's when we'll officially take off, in my opinion.
Dale, how have you guys fought through the adversity of all the injuries and not allow it to sink the team?
We've been there before, unfortunately. Ever since I've honestly been traded here, we've had numerous injuries. With some of the best players on the team going in and out of the lineup. Lineups have changed so much in the course of an 82-game season, every season since I've been here. So we're kind of used to it. We have a next man up mentality. All 15 guys got to be ready to go, and that's something that Coach Mose has done a really good job of just telling everyone that you never know when your number is called, and when it's called, you better be ready. So I give a lot of credit to all the guys for just being ready to step up in those moments.
Though, just the offense that you had early.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of games that we see you, and it wasn't just like assisted stuff. You were driving and forcing that. How did you process that game, and how did it feel to finish the game the way that you did with the putback?
Honestly, I give a lot of credit to my teammates. Those guys we start out with, Dez, P, AB, Jay Sullivan out there, Tristan, they all have encouraged me. They tell me, when I'm aggressive, it takes our team to a new level on the offensive end. Because there's a lot of things I do that don't show up in the box score night in and night out. But they say offensively that unlocks another chapter for this team is when I'm aggressive. So I definitely give a lot of credit to them. But then at the same time, just processing the game, slowing it down a little bit mentally, but still playing at a high pace. That's about it.
What were your teammates saying to you after you put back to take the lead? Y'all hadn't won yet.
Yeah.
But to put the back like that, what were the guys saying to you then?
Get one more stop, so it could be the game-winning bucket. They were hyping me up. Everybody was happy, but the game wasn't over. So we did a really good job of getting a great stop to end the game. But like I said before, those guys have been encouraging me. With the offensive slump I've been in on the last couple of games, they just been encouraging me to continue to stay aggressive.
What's it mean to come to LA and get 2 big wins?
It means a lot, especially coming out of All-Star break. Guys are kind of trying to work their way back into, being able to play at a high level. I think guys did a really good job of just going to this break, understanding that, these last 29 are very important. We came out of break, popping on all cylinders and knowing that when you go play against West Coast teams, they're usually more offensively dominant, and we did a really good job of holding all teams underneath their averages. So, that's just kudos to the whole team of just going into break, understanding that the job is not finished and there's another level that we can get to.
What do you think about P's defense playing against Luka?
Yeah.
You're not going to stop him, but he contended and made him work. What have you seen from him, just not only tonight but defensively this season?
Oh, man, that's when P is locked in defensively. He's one of the best in this league. He has potential to be one of the best two-way players to ever play this game, in my opinion. He had two big challenges with Kawhi the other night, and then Luka tonight. He took that challenge head on. When he's in that mode, when he's locked in, man, it unlocks his team and takes us to a whole nother level.
You guys were down the whole game until the last couple minutes. What were you guys telling each other in the huddle, in the locker room at halftime? What were you guys talking about?
Trust the process. The results weren't what we wanted in those moments. We got a lot of great looks. Guys were being aggressive, taking their shots. But I mean, that's kind of what I was saying earlier about the maturity of this group is starting to show a lot more. Is that sometimes the results aren't always in our favor, but when the process is right, the results will come at some point. So I think we just did a good job of sticking to the game plan and sticking to the process on the offensive end.
Another process question. When DeAndre Ayton is having the first half he had, and you're the opposing center, how are you taking that? And how is your team saying, like, we're okay with this, continue to trust what the plan was?
DA is he's one of the guys I came in with. I got a great relationship with him. He plays the game the right way. He plays really hard. But, you look across there, you got guys like Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron, and understanding that, you want to take the ball out of those guys' hands as much as possible. So we understood that he was getting a lot of easy baskets early on, but it was part of the process, part of the game plan, and I think we just did a good job of sticking to it and not getting too rattled or overwhelmed or thinking we need to change anything. So I think, again, I think that's just the maturity of this group of not letting one or two plays throw us off from the game plan.
Pete, before the trip, we kind of talked about the type of basketball that would be played, post All-Star break, and on this trip specifically with, clutch situations, big games. How do you feel your group rose to that challenge tonight, responding after those big plays with plays of your own?
Yeah, we just stuck together. We knew we were coming into, a tough environment against a good team, and we've been in a lot of close games this year, since the start of the season. So I think, just having that experience, winning some, losing some, has helped us a lot just to stay poised and everybody realizing that, they can make a play at any moment in the game. And I think you saw that, just Desmond hitting the three, AB getting the rebound, to then Dell picking it up and then putting it in. I think just shows you everybody was ready in the moment.
Paolo, this is the most points you had in a win this season. And what about tonight's game on that end of the floor do you want to kind of take through the rest of the season and into the postseason?
Yeah, just being aggressive, being aggressive downhill, making plays for others. I think that always opens the game up for me if I'm able to, keep the defense honest with my passing. And, yeah, just being aggressive when the ball's in my hands, making the defense respect me, and just always, hunting my shots, and then also looking for the pass as well.
Was there any point during the game when you felt like this was going to be a good night for you?
Probably in the third quarter, middle of the third quarter. I mean, I felt good the whole game, but I think in the third quarter I got going, just got comfortable, and knew that I was gonna be able to have a good night. But I felt good from the tip, so yeah.
Paolo, I want to get to that dime you had to Dez for his go-ahead three. You getting into the paint, how did you even find him? Because you got to the paint and you could have drawn a foul. You could have had your own shot attempt. How did you get to a point where it's like not only did you make that pass, but it was the right decision to make?
Yeah, I mean, it was a kind of a bang-bang play. Dale came and set the screen, and then it was me and Ayton, one-on-one. And I kind of hesitated, which kind of bought me some time to, like, read through my peripheral. And I saw LeBron, tag Wendell because Ayton was in front of me. So I was like, okay, he left. I knew it was either Tristan or Desmond on that wing. And so I knew Bron tagged. And once I saw him tag, I knew there was someone wide open on the wing. And was very happy when I saw it was Desmond right there. And I knew that was going in. So just a bang-bang play. But, like I said, I'm just, and even in those moments, you got to make the right play. And, I had two bodies on me. Roller was taken. And so there's someone open for the spray out. And, that's the best shooter on our team and one of the best shooters in the league. So, great guy to get the ball to.
you put some tough defense on Kawhi the other day. Tonight you had Luka. What is the key for you to having the strength to give so much offensively? You still come back on the other side and guard the tough guys.
Yeah, I think it's just me, accepting the challenge. I think a lot of times, coaches want, the better players to guard a guy. They don't have to expend as much energy, but, having Jalen out, having Franz out, those are two of our best perimeter defenders. And so, I know that I got to step up on that side of the ball. And, I'm a big guy. I can move. I feel like I'm a good defender, especially one-on-one, guarding, bigger guys, bigger guards. And so, guarding guys like that, you're not going to stop them from scoring, but, you can make it hard on them, make them miss a couple shots, just make them expend a lot of energy. So that's just what I'm trying to do. Kawhi, obviously he had a big night, but getting a couple stops and just making it difficult. And then, Luka, him being a hell of a player and just a creator with the ball in his hands, trying to just show my body and, be there, when he's trying to get looks and make plays.
P, your group hasn't had much time at home this season. To close this road trip 3-1, to finally go back home for an extended stretch, how much momentum can that create for your group?
Yeah, that was the first thing, that we said in the locker room after this win. It was just great win, hell of a trip. And, we got to take this momentum back home to Orlando and just, build off of, this stretch, play some really, inspired basketball, play really tough, a lot of close games. And so, yeah, just bringing that same energy home, in front of the fans. They're going to help carry us, in those close games. Hopefully, they're not all close games, but, yeah, just bringing that momentum that we've built on this trip back home.
Thank you, everyone.